I'm Lee, this is Snare, we're Overbite Gaming, and today we are reviewing Dragonage Inquisition.
We're going to review the shit out of this game.
Dragonage Inquisition opens with a massive explosion that decimates armies and kills the religious leader of the Chantry. You're the sole survivor with a mysterious glowing hand.
This is brought to us by EA and Bioware, who have not been making friends recently with the prequel to this game, Dragonage 2, and the infamous ending of Mass Effect 3.
Not to mention the always online bollocks of SimCity, which don't them no friends whatsoever.
In classic EA fashion, the menus in this game are very, very clunky and not very intuitive.
A lot of the design decisions taken are a bit strange. They've locked the cutscenes at 30 frames per second. When you're playing silky smooth gameplay, it's a bit jarring to then go into a conversation and have it suddenly half the frame rate.
And I knew Lee would pick that up.
Damn straight.
Yeah. Also, the crafting system is a bit over-designed. There's lots to do and it's really, really open, but you don't get a chance to compare what you're crafting to stuff that you can actually pick up and loot. So you end up with stuff that you've looted much, much better than anything you can actually make. So you have all these resources and nothing to do with it.
Well, you don't have those resources because you're busy making something you think is going to be excellent, and you throw a load of your resources into it, and then you end up with something that's worse than what you already have. Also, the opening of the game. The first area you spend about 10 hours in. I spent about 10 hours in. It's fairly boring. It gets
Lots
very
of side
samey.
quests, yeah.
There's a lot to do in it, but it's all very boring stuff. It's not very well done.
Yeah, and it does have a bit of a bad design flaw there because the big piece that you are dealing with at the start of the massive explosion causes this massive hole in the sky, and what you don't seem to realise is that that's not the big end battle, and it kind of builds it to that. It kind of gives you an impression that is the big baddie that you're actually going to be.
Yeah, it comes
facing
across as though when you finish that, it's going to be game over, or it's going to be one long ass mission, and then it's going to be game over because you've eliminated the threat.
And it's not that at all, is it?
It's not that at all.
Yeah. So it does kind of. It's a good and a bad thing, but for me, it was kind of annoying that you are spending all that time in that first section, and you get this feeling that this game is just this. It's just in one place. It's not. It's EA doing their thing again. You don't give them the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah. It after Dragon Age 2, where they recycled so many areas,
yeah,
you were just like, okay, they've done this one big area, at least they're not recycling anything, but is there anywhere else I can go other than to this big battle, which is probably the end of the game?
Yeah, it's not a good place to be.
No.
All we can do is wait for the end.
One of the other sadly negative things I did experience during this game, I was playing it on PS4, Lee was playing it on PC, but what I found is some of the conversations that you have, they glitch. Not as bad as Assassin's Creed, not to bring them up again, but we haven't got faces missing or anything. This is just that the conversation will be quite natural. It'll be like someone says something, get a chance to respond, and you have your piece to say. But what happens in this, in the PS4 version, I've found, is you get some points where somebody will ask you a question, and your character will stand there and do that kind of arbitrary just movement that the speech will go over, but they're not actually saying anything. And it's really irritating because you can't get out of it. You haven't got any options to actually click and kind of say this or get out of the conversation. You're locked in.
Yeah, I didn't experience that on the PC version. The only real glitch I experienced was I was in a courtyard having a fight. You had to jump down into the courtyard, and somehow the bad guy that had the key I needed managed to get back up on the roof. So I couldn't get to him to loot him to get the key to progress, so I was just stuck. I had to reload that and replay about 20 minutes of game.
But it's just amusing, isn't it? Because even with all these glitches and bad things, I fucking loved it.
Oh, it's fucking excellent.
It's awesome.
It's so good.
If you don't watch the rest of this review, buy this game.
Yes, buy the special edition. I will support special editions once for this.
What?
Yes.
Special editions?
Yeah, I spent a tenner extra for the Origin version.
Wow.
Gave me like music and stuff that I didn't want.
This is like history. I mean, Lee buying a special edition is like the sky turning green.
I did.
Oh yeah, I did. Good point. just proved my point. But yeah, this game is, for all its failings, they pale in comparison to the fun, enjoyment and immersion you're going to get from this game. Absolutely.
It's fantastic. There have been rumours about it being nominated for Game of the Year, and for me, I would wholly support them.
Absolutely. The size of this game, in that first area we spoke about earlier, that you're kind of stuck in, and you think, okay, it's about time I go and just finish this, because this is, get through it. And then the whole game just opens up into this massive, epic, makes Lord of the Rings look like a 5-minute short. It's just huge. There's so much to do, and it's all fun to do. Side quests being fun is something I've not really come across in any game, but they're all intrinsically linked to each other.
Yes.
You get conversational pieces about them. They'll progress parts of your group that you actually build up through the game.
Yeah. I mean, if you do take one thing away from this video, other than buying the damn thing,
Buy it.
but you should take away the fact that get out of the hinterlands as quickly as you can, because if you stay in there for hours, you're going to be like, is this all it is? Really?
Yeah.
Get out of it as soon as possible. As soon as you hit that minimum level for that mission, do it. The game's not going to end. There's much more to it. Just go.
Damn, it's true.
I want to start going through some of the positives of this game, because there are so many to talk about.
Absolutely.
So many. So the first one that I really came across that I really liked was the customization of your main character.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot you can change on it. It's almost like Sims 4 face tweaky levels. But I had trouble getting the nose how I wanted it. But
Yeah, the controls did seem a bit strange on direction you're pushing stuff, and you can literally say my cheeks are coming out, going in, my jaw comes forward and back and fat and wide. There's lots of stuff to change around, so it's very good to get something that looks a lot like you, unless you have an interesting hairstyle, because unless you have something out of Japanese manga or shaved head, some of the hairstyles are a bit kind of strange, and they don't kind of, a lot of the textures on the clothes and the hair, they kind of overlap and cut through each other.
There's some clipping issues, definitely.
But the customization of the actual character to make something that's you is so important in an RPG. You're playing a role, you're not playing a story. So I think it's so important that you can tweak it to make it just like you, or however you want to be as a character.
And let's face it, bold is best.
Yeah, unfortunately mine did end up bald because the hair didn't match that.
Mm.
Unless I chose someone with a massive quiff, but I went for elf. So I had these massive ears, which you can also tweak to go like that, big or small. Kind of, it was funny. It was funny, but I ended up giving my elf a really deep voice as well. So I'm kind of talking like this, and I'm as skinny as you like elf dude. It just didn't fit, but it was funny. I enjoyed making that character.
My character was pretty much the prototypical bold human archer. Where I went, so.
Does it look like you?
Only than the fact that he's bold.
Good.
The characterization for all your party members is fantastic, and the supporting cast. You really get to know them during the course of the game, and it feels very natural. They open up very gradually, and there are some stoic characters that you don't like to start with, but you get to know them, and slowly you bring them out of their shell, and it's fantastic.
You really get a you get a reward from the actual progress of those relationships. There's enough humour, and it's subtly put in later on in those kind of relationship arcs. You'll do things for those characters, you'll have side missions for those characters, and you'll end up having quite humorous interactions between the characters themselves, or just with you and the particular set piece that you're playing at the time. It feels so much more natural, because there's no absolutes involved in these relationships. You can do something and it will make someone happy and piss someone else off. It's not that binary. It's somebody slightly approves of this and somebody slightly disapproves of that, and quite often you'll have your favourite, won't you?
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, you have a favourite. There's a chance for romance in those relationships, as they have been in every other game, but they feel so much more rewarding because you've had to put so much more work into it, rather than, I'm going to do stuff because you hate elves, and therefore if I do this you'll like me more. It's very hard to actually judge the characters, and once you do, it becomes a great part of the game.
Yeah, on the subject of the sexuality of the game, Dragonage has obviously included that from the get-go. It's done very well in this. What I'd really appreciated is they've toned down being almost pressured into a relationship, which I found was the case in Dragon Age 2. You have characters with specific sexual orientation. In Dragon Age 2, it was kind of like...
Anyone for anyone.
Yeah, it was a free-for-all. And like you had characters that you didn't want to necessarily sleep with coming onto you all the time. Like it was like, almost like they were humping your leg like a little frou-frou dog.
Anders.
Yes, Anders is who I had in mind. But in this game, if you don't flirt with them, you don't get that at all.
Yeah.
So you have to initiate it. It's not them pressuring and putting themselves upon you.
And also I found in some instances of the game, and obviously we've been playing different styles of game and doing different things, but one of the things I had was I was actually flirting and ended up sleeping with an NPC in the game just to get my way. And it's the fact that you can flirt and basically flirt with anyone in this game, doesn't matter if they're male, female, Kunari, whatever, you can just get on it. And it gives you that kind of warning to say, do you want to start a romance with this person? Not with the NPCs, but with the main characters. Yeah. And it just feels so liberating. You can do almost anything. And it never feels that whenever you're having these discussions or relationships with these people, that it's got a dead end to it. It feels natural. It doesn't feel like it's been written.
Until you try and dick the lesbian elf.
Yeah. Which I did try for some time. Because I was an elf, I thought it kind of fitted. But there's little things though. There's some characters that are kind of, they're not part of your crew, but they're really integral. Like there's a dwarven scout, who's I think is quite cute, you know.
Yeah,
for a dwarf.
Yeah, she's got a pleasant way about her and a nice voice, and she's not terrible looking for a small person.
But she's, you know, you try and flirt with her, and it doesn't take it any further. It's a bit of a shame, but you still can flirt with her. And
the thing which surprised me most is Leliana, who was probably the most sexual character from previous games. And they've upgraded her character model, and she is by far, she looks stunning.
Best she's ever looked. She's got better with age.
And you can't romance her.
Yes, it is annoying. Maybe we can. Maybe we can hold out hope.
Well, for DLC?
Yeah.
I'd pay for
Listen,
that.
Bioware, that's what you need for DLC. You need a Leliana section.
I regret that I even let you see me like this. It was a moment of weakness. It won't happen again.
So in addition to having all of these different experiences and relationships with these characters in your sort of crew, the game itself is just epic. It's huge. I mean, people have always made comparisons on map sizes and stuff. The map sizes themselves don't matter. It's actually what you've got inside the maps to do is more important, and it is absolutely massive. You have side missions that will take you across multiple different sections of the game, which for most part in most games has really pissed me off, because it's just, you know, you want to just, okay, I've got 20 minutes to play this game right now, I can just jump on and do some missions and clear off a few of the roster. But on this game I don't mind, because everywhere you go you're rewarded for exploring. If you go into a particular set piece, you know, always check the nooks and crannies, because you're going to find loot crates and chests and whatnot, stuff to actually pick up. But you actually don't mind going to all these different sections, and with the power that we have with the next gen consoles and PC, the loading screens, although they can be very annoying, it's not for long. It really isn't for that long.
On PC, the load screens are for quite a while. I mean, I'm not running an SSD, so, you know, I could speed them up in theory. But what I find is the first one tends to be extremely long, but then it seems to be able to retain some of the assets it loads, and, you know, subsequent loads are a lot shorter. Another thing they do really well, though, is with the different areas, they're all very distinctive.
Yeah.
You'll have swamps, you'll have arid deserts, you'll have forests. And they all look different. Even the forests look different from one another.
Yeah, and they look beautiful as well.
Yeah, the lighting effects are all very well done. I just can't say enough good things about this game.
This is a stupid review. I mean, we're supposed to be here talking about good things and bad things, but in all honesty, the bad things pale in comparison. It's just, in other games it would piss me off.
Yeah.
But what you're getting from the game, what you're actually getting out of the game, is so much bigger that you can almost go, conversations don't work. Do you know what? I don't mind. I can move on from that.
I don't mind, my conversations work.
But for me, it was kind of the kind of glitches I was experiencing weren't massive amounts. There wasn't lots of glitches. It would happen maybe once every, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours of gameplay. It wouldn't happen often, but it wasn't anything that I could sort of write home about and say, I don't like this game because I can't do that. It kept me intrigued. I still want to play it. I'm still playing it. I must have pumped in about 36 hours into this game now. And, I mean, I still got so much to do.
Yeah.
I mean, bang for buck. It's an RPG, but you've got so much to do for your money.
Yeah, I mean, it is super replayable as well, because of the different decisions you make during the game, even from the character creation, the doors that opens for you in regard to the relationships you can foster. It's very good. It's just so good.
It's so good. I would strongly recommend anyone that likes RPGs to play this game, or anyone thinking about starting to play RPGs. You need to buy this game. It really it's my best RPG that I've played in a long time, and for me, it's right up there with Skyrim, and it's playing the RPG game a different way, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, Skyrim is complete immersion in one character, that's you. But in this, it's got that lovely interaction with other people, and still making it feel like one thing, not just tacked on together.
Yeah, I mean, that is certainly a huge advantage it has over Skyrim, in my opinion, because in Skyrim, you know, you're the chosen, you get like bodyguards and hirelings, but you don't care about them, you don't give them monkeys.
No.
In this, you legitimately care about the characters, and you go through an emotional journey with all of them.
I mean, it's one thing to talk about the characters. All of the voice acting is great. I'm not too keen on some of the accents, because they seem fake, even though they're not. They've got kind of a French twang or a Spanish twang, and they do obviously put the classic denomination, that's not even the word, but the accent of the region of Ireland, Scotland and stuff for elves and dwarves.
Yeah, I mean, what used to annoy me very much about Dragon Age 2 was the fact they basically had the elves and they had Irish and Welsh accents, and the developers didn't seem to think there was a difference.
I wonder if they actually did, or they just did it for a laugh.
Yeah, maybe.
If this is all just the Maker winding us up, I hope there's a damn good punchline coming.
So as we said earlier, spending too much time in the hinterlands is probably a bad idea, your first area of the game, because after you do go and deal with the big hole in the sky, you then have this game explode in front of you into something massive. And one of the things that you do is you get to a kind of a fortress area, which is going to be your base of operations really for the whole of the rest of the game, I presume, because I haven't finished the game yet. But this particular region and the travel to that region it had me on the edge of my seat, and I actually got goosebumps. And there's not many games that can give me goosebumps like that, but because I'd invested so much time into it to start with, the feeling of like walking to the top of a hill. If you remember those first trailers for Lord of the Rings back in like 2000, 2001, when they're walking over the icy mountains, they've obviously stolen it from, or it feels like they've stolen it from Lord of the Rings. But that moment where they're like, Skyhold, which is the name of your fortress place, it was just, oh my god, I actually got goosebumps. It was amazing.
I was like, oh my god, I'm going to get lost in another camp.
And it is tricky to get used to where things are, I have to say, because it is sprawling and there's lots of people there, but you can quite easily spend an hour or two in Skyhold catching up with all the conversations before doing anything else.
Yeah, it very much has the Bioware theme of do a mission and then do the rounds with the crew.
Yeah.
Mass Effect.
Yeah, absolutely. But because they're in random places, until you actually find out where to go and how to get to, it can be quite tricky. Thank you, Bioware, for putting fast travel points in that section.
Yeah, it's fast travel points, but it's actually within your own base, so you can just travel around it. The base is that big.
Yeah.
It's great.
One of the nice things that Bioware have done for Dragon Age Inquisition is to bring in some of the characters from the previous 2 editions of Dragon Age. I'm not going to tell you who they are, I'm not going to tell you where you see them, but let it be known that it's a nice touch to have a bit of throwback to the previous games. It was good.
it does open the question. I really want to go back and go to the Dragonage Keep, which is where you make all the decisions you've made in your previous games, so that they can import and have the world specific to your game. Change them up, because some of these characters that reappear, it's possible they could have died. So it'd be interesting to see if it pulls other characters, or they're just missing, or if there's any differences in more gameplay that I can devour.
Exactly, but let's not take away from the 10 out of 10 type feeling that we have about this game. It's amazing.
I would say it's a 9 out of 10.
Where's the pessimist?
Well, 10 out of 10 for me is we wouldn't have any niggles at all. It would have to be perfect. We do have niggles, and they're not big ones.
It's true. I get your point. I just wanted to indicate the fact that you must buy this game.
Yes, if you have hands and are able to use a controller or a mouse or a keyboard, buy the game. Your hands will thank you. I came out wrong.
We're going to need a miracle.
In conclusion, Dragon Age is definitely a contender for Game of the Year. It's exceeded all my expectations. I am super happy I bought it. The base game was £50 on Origin, which is a lot to pay for a PC game in today's digital marketplace. But I went and paid 60 quid for the digital deluxe version, and I do not regret that decision at all. There's so much content, even for that amount of money. I'm more than willing to pay for Dragon Age 4 for 60, 70 quid. Give me a vinyl statue and all that crap.
I have to say, the bang for buck in this game is amazing. RPGs are generally made to be games that play for 100 hours, 200 hours, 300 hours plus, if you want to really go to the nth degree. And this game has got enough to keep you going for hours, days, weeks and months. It's such a good game, and there's so much to do, and you feel like you're really you feel like a badass the whole way through. So it's an absolute buy from my point of view, and well done to EA for making themselves kind of back in the good books with this. This is their flagship game right now.
Absolutely, even better than The Sims 4.
Which is a lot coming from him. So there we have it. There's our review. Well, it's not really a review, but an advertisement for Inquisition. It's a fantastic game. Well done to it. And thanks for watching. We've been Overbite Gaming. I'm Snare.
I'm Lee, and I love you, Cassandra.
I love you.
Here, tonight. I believe you.
Catch you next time, guys. Bye.
Take it easy.
I think so. Is he still there?
I can't tell.
He's there.
Is that not the other one?
No, there's
No.
two still there.
Your grip's going.
No.
Carl, it's so close, you've got to do it.